Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity with me, Bring It On. Continue clearing out blood sands.
Arthur, burden, rock.
Oh crap!
Let's go.
Naka was pregnant.
Let's go.
My thoughts dart.
Oh man, Quest just took a very dark turn.
Hey. Let's go. On your side.
Talon's Amulet, +9 will. This amulet consists of an engraved circular disc, carved from bone and hanging from a simple leather cord. Sounds like it'd be a quest item.
Arthur.
Oh, alright, she doesn't seem to care. I guess because she's tied to another quest, well, and she's blind. Oh. Rota's head turns to you, but she seems to look past you through clouded eyes. I've heard the screams of the others and smelled their blood in the air. A grim irony that the Ethic Knoll should perish alongside a millennium of sacrifices. The ancient dwarf inhales deeply. You're doing. I'm gonna finish an old blind woman too. Or have you other business? No reason to kill you.
My thoughts dart.
On your side.
My mind.
Let's go.
Okay, let's get out of here, go to Elm Shore, see if we can't track down the leader of the Golden Grove. And give her a similar fate. I'm going to swing by Cad Noah real quick to rest up. Not that we need to, but I like to see those little green bars it filled up.
Sure.
If I had to guess, she's going to be over here. I think we saw this. I'm surprised there was nothing over here to begin with. I still think something's going to happen with this. I wonder if this is how we get back from the burial isle. An elf stands on a dais in the middle of a clearing. The ground is blanketed with leaves in various shades of russet and gold. Her eyes are closed, and arms folded in front of her. A curtain of autumnal yellow hair hangs in front of her face. As you draw near, she lifts her chin and looks at you with shifting hazel eyes.
Greetings, Estremor. You are among the ovates of the Golden Grove.
They brighten from dull brown to vivid green. Her voice is as soft as a breeze sighing through trees. And you are?
High Ovate, an ancient elm among poles and saplings. We have taken root in the same soil, and the others grow in my shade. Their roots nourish my soil. My branches give them shelter. Together, we grow.
Her eyes pulse with a deep, summery green. Your essence turns like an eddy in the stream, Estremor. Speak the questions in your soul. I'd like to know more about the ovates of the Golden Grove.
Like the leaves of a tree, we are many sharing one source, one purpose. Living or dying, we nourish one another. The truths of the soul and of the body are written on every blade of grass and sung by every creature under the sun. We learn these truths and sing them back.
Ours is not the song of the gods, but of Berath. This is why many of our numbers study the discourse of herbs and inhabit the skins of beasts. You're druids. Are you familiar with the Ethic Knoll? A wrinkle of distaste curls her lip. A swarm of maggots on a dead songbird. Worms hollowing a mighty spruce. They celebrate the withering of life rather than its budding. They see strength from others, instead of accepting what Berath freely gives. Her eyes dim to a blackish brown. They take pride in their independence from the gods, yet their leaders demand an even greater sacrifice. Death for life. Strength from the spent essence of their petitioners. The Ethic Knoll offer a different kind of servitude, and one to kith whose souls have long since rotted. I don't want to side with them. Why are they considered rational? I wouldn't really know. Your answer is driftwood in the rapids. Fair enough to cling to for a time, but eventually you must choose a firmer position. Speak plainly, will you? She gives you a mischievous half-grin, while her eyes fade to gray. The words on my lips are the language of the stream cleaving stones, and the wind guiding seeds. If you do not understand, it is because the tongues of kith have deafened you. Berath has sent me to end your life. It has continued for too long.
And counted on your silent acceptance of such commands, no doubt. What is a god that his voice should carry so far? And what are you that you should so eagerly obey? The gods only have dominion over what we cede, and you would cede matters of life and death to them.
Her mirthless laughter sounds like water breaking on rocks. Durance laughs thickly with derision. The gods set the rules and let us do as we will, but that is merely a test, and only a fool thinks he has been conceded anything. You do what your god wants, or you face the fire. This woman is about to become an example. Are you any different? You've extended your life beyond its natural span. Through work and wisdom. The greater the tree, the more fruit it may yield. She nods at the ovates gathered in the clearing. There are vines climbing an ancient elm into the sunlight. My growth sustains them. Could our harmony fall prey to a god's jealousy? And where exactly would she lead them? She's blind to the limits of her own wisdom. Your growth stunts theirs. They learn nothing apart from you. If this is what you demand of the other ovates, you're no different from the Ethic Knoll, or the gods. A storm of protest brews behind her color-shifting eyes. She says nothing for several seconds. You see the fury slowly drain from her face as her eyes fade to the brown of dead leaves. Finally, Arona lowers her head. Your words carry truth and shame. It was never my desire to diminish my followers. I can see where perhaps my roots left no room for them to grow. Very well. My season has ended, and let me pass with it. As she closes her eyes, the warmth and color drain from her body. Her breathing slows, her ashen skin stiffening with a dull patina. When the last sigh that leaves her lungs, cracks carve their way across her flesh, dividing it into hardened ridges. Within seconds, Arona is petrified, her bark-encrusted face turned toward the ovates below the dais. Oh cool, I have to kill everybody here. They seem like a far more pleasant bunch than the Ethic Knoll. But I don't get any loot. Alright, so we'll go speak to Berath, and then we'll go to we'll go to Radric's Hold. See if we can't recruit that vampire that's there.
Yeah. Right.
I've read this already. Okay. As you pray to Berath, you again find yourself on the road. Squinting into the distance, you see a short, pale figure waiting for you. At first, you think it's another vision of Archdruid Reston, but then you notice the figure's skeletal frame and rictus grin. He stands in front of another skull gate, but the way leads down, not onward. He beckons for you to approach. That must be the usher. Alas's voice is low. Behind you is a woman. her skin milk pale against her black hair. She wears a suit of armor so dark it seems to suck the light from the stars. The road winds up a mountain behind her.
A toll, traveler.
She holds out a hand. And the pallid knight. Follow the usher. He gives you a lipless smile and leads you into the skull's maw and down a long flight of stairs. The pallid knight follows close behind. It seems as if you're in a gigantic cavern. The ceiling curves up and away, and it's dotted with moisture. At this distance, the shining beads look like stars, clustered and scattered in constellations. Two identical cave mouths wait up ahead, and you follow the usher to one of them. Standing at the edge and gazing down, you see an endless, ever-changing plain bisected by a road. Only then do you realize that you're no longer on the road. As you follow the road to the point where it disappears below you, you realize that you're standing in one of the eye sockets of a massive skull. The usher points to the road. Archdruid Reston appears below you. He's just as you remembered him, stern and smooth-skinned. Yet with each step along the road he grows, swelling with blood and essence. His heavy steps become slower and slower, till he stops altogether. His distended body fills the path completely.
You met a dwarf traveling this road. What did you do?
The pallid knight's voice is low and soft. He lived on the blood of others. I saw justice done. Is that what I want to say? Yeah, he lived on the blood of others. I saw justice done.
There is no justice in the tides that move the seas, nor in the seasons that nurture and slay all growing things. There is no morality in the forces that move the world. They are inevitable, products of their own self-perpetuating motion.
The pallid knight's flesh is taut against her skull. As Reston's swollen body ruptures, the effect is like a dam bursting. Ghostly figures, as hazy and indistinct as wisps of smoke, continue along the cleared path. Some tumble and rush along, while others amble and drift, but all continue forward. The usher directs your attention to another figure moving down the path. This time, you see Hyove Arona. As she follows the road, movements become slow and erratic. Her legs creak with each step, and her feet grow long, thick roots that burrow into the ground. She finally stops, rooted in place.
You found a tree that had lived for centuries. Its roots were deep, and its boughs sheltered many. Why did you cut it down?
The pallid knight turns to you again. I mean, two's the truth. Trees don't belong in the road. I thought that if I cleared the tree, maybe the Lord of the Road would grant me a boon.
The Lord of the Road does not trade favors. He grants passage and extracts his toll, nothing more. But it may be that in serving his interests, you further your own.
Rona's body petrifies below, and the shimmering leaves of her hair blow down the path. You seek another who has lived his lives on the brink of the cycle. He sits on the inside of the wheel, observing its revolutions. With each life, he is plucked from the stream and returned to it intact. Why do you hunt Theus? It's kind of all of these, but let's do for answers. He understands what has happened to me.
Always seeking reasons and meaning. But answers are circular, Watcher. To find them, you must begin with the right question. The question is not what Theos has done, but whom he serves.
The pallid knight inclines her head. Starlight gleams off of her hollow cheek. The top of Derrence's staff burst into flame. You'd best answer your own question, Knight. You would not care for my means of extraction. Thea serves Wotica. She desires an escape from her own cycle. Power without decline. Theus has removed thousands of souls from the cycle, so that their essence might empower her. The black depths of her eyes threaten to swallow you. You must stop him. You must return them to the cycle. What end would it serve to send the souls back into the cycle? Attending to these souls is a question of stability, Watcher, of maintaining the natural order of the world and the ebb and flow of essence. Couldn't they be returned to Hollowborn? As battered, burdened things, you mix soured wine with fresh. The kindness you seek lies in giving them a new beginning, not in shackling them to this life. If Theus has meddled with these souls, perhaps it would be better to destroy them. The cycle is merciless, but it is not wasteful. Time and the endless procession of rebirths eventually grind souls into dust, but until then, they must pass from the world and return to it. Their continuing movement advances the cycle itself. What's wrong with Wotica seizing this power? The cycle of Kith is a thing of balance. Likewise is the cycle of gods. We rise and fall in the favor of mortals. Let a fall and rise again. But Wotica seeks the power to place herself outside this cycle. She would root herself and grow to the detriment of others. The usher silently gestures to the road, where a broken tree and husk of flesh are still visible. Cycles are changeless and monotonous. Surely there is a better alternative. The illusion of revolution. It is merely part of another cycle, and a painful one. True change has structure, geometry. It is the product of cycles within cycles. 1,000 gears spinning and moving, the universe by degrees. I think I understand what you're telling me. The usher gestures to the road and the starry expanse beyond, while the pallid knight speaks. I only show you the motion of the universe, Watcher. I don't see what this has to do with me. Theus builds a dam to divert water from a stream. The flow of thousands of souls will shape the world you live in, Watcher. It will also shape the world your soul returns to in its next lives. Why does Wotica even need Theos' help? And why do you need mine, for that matter? The gods guide souls through the cycle of death and rebirth, but Eora is the domain of mortals. We stand aside, weights and counterweights. For one to alter the tides of Kith, all would follow. We would tip this world from its axis. That is why Wotica directs a mortal to do her bidding, and why any who would stop Theos must be mortal as well. I must go to Sun and Shadow now.
No mortal can survive the descent into the pit. But there are souls on the burial isle that are pledged to me. I will grant them to you, and they shall bear you down safely, as well as light the way beyond.
A multitude appears at the end of the road, raising their voices and kicking up dust as they make their way toward you. Return them to the Cycle, Watcher. Promise that you will, and I shall give you power befitting a champion of death. The Pallid Knight raises a finger. Accept my favor, however, and I will demand this decision as your due. I collect from all mortals in time. I would hear what the other gods have to say first. Do not delay long, Watcher. What Theus seeks to do cannot be undone, even by the turning of the wheel. The usher points behind you. When you turn, you find yourself again standing in Tir Evron. Alright, so Halea wants us to return the souls to who they belong to, so the Hollowborn will get their souls back. Berath wants us to return them to the wheel to continue the cycle, so basically acting as if those souls were dead. And his argument is that the souls being returned to the bodies aren't going to thrive. Because the Hollowborn, the souls will be returning to wicks and I
You
guess
must gather your
damaged
party
hosts.
before venturing forth.
It's like, I guess I see where he's coming from. But obviously I don't know for sure what would happen. So is it better to leave the lives of the Hollowborn as they are?
Right.
But we still have 2 more groups of gods to speak to, so we'll speak to them before we do anything else. And I already checked the throne room. I meant to. His Kolsk, I think, was killed. So with Radric killed a second time, I'm assuming this place is just empty. Which means it's up for the taking, right? And before I forget, let's go ahead and miss the line breaker. It is true then. You have been graced with Berath's favor. The pale creature glances past you. A great champion of the Lord of Death. Greater than he whom I served. After a moment, she drops to one knee. I would serve you loyally, my lord, if you would have me. What power I hold would be yours to command. But very well. Go to my stronghold at Cadnua. The vampire rises, bowing neatly. Thank you, my lord. I'll travel there at once.
Yeah.
So does that mean I can hire her right now? We lose some prestige, but we gain 5 defense, or 5 security. I considered a guest, though. I guess now there's Korgrak, so... Or the Crucible Knight.
Huh?
Well, neat. Glad somebody told me about that, because I would have never thought to come back and speak to the vampire. That's one of those things you just have to happen to do it in the right order to discover it. And I did not do it in that order. Alright, so return to Tier Evron, and the next episode we'll speak to some more gods. I think I'll do the upper right set next, because the upper left have my favorite gods, Abaddon. Oh, Abaddon's probably my favorite.
Sure.
But the upper left has what, Abaddon, Galawain, and Mogren. And the upper right, it was Grimmergond and two others, Andra and who was the third one? Who am I forgetting about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
Oh, Skyn. Yeah, we'll speak to them next time, see what they have to say, and then we'll speak to this group. Because this is the group I'm most excited to speak to. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one.